There's an old Zen story, maybe you've heard about, where a seeker goes to the master asking to be taught. And as the master makes tea, so this is our pretend teapot, and this is our fancy teacup, right? So the master makes tea, and the student, or the prospective student, is going on and on and on about all the things that he knows. And so the master is pouring the tea, and the student is going on and on and on and on about all the things that he knows. He's going on and on and on about all the things that he knows. And then he says, wait, you're overfilling the teacup. And the master says, well, yes, it's like you. You're so full of knowledge. Where could more go? More fun when you have visual aids. So today's talk is called Making Way, and it's really all because of this song we're going to do in a little bit called Empty. And it's sort of about asking the question, knowing the difference between how do you know when you're full, meaning there's no more room for the wisdom to come in. And it makes me think about the Pharisees, how they were really, really interested in the rules. Really interested in doing things a particular way. That they didn't seem to have room to see any new truths. Or to have any new insights. Because they were full. They were full. And it seems that there's this through line between many of the world's religions about having that sense of openness. Someone used the word surrender, which I know is a little scary to some people, the word surrender. But in that sense of openness instead of crunchedness, but being free, empty, available, open-handed. And those rules of the heart, which is what the Pharisees couldn't see, was the rules of the heart, were about things like compassion and deep understanding and really seeing all of the picture instead of those micro managing details. And it's really amazing, these things that and maybe it's partly because it's fall. It's the time where I think I've told you all about how one day I couldn't see my neighbors out my back window, and now I can, and the next later on, because the leaves just keep falling, and it's like, oh, there's an emptiness. And that's part of the cycle, as you said in the prayer this morning, that cycle of fall, of making room to see what's there. I couldn't see all the trees that were in my yard because there was so much other things there. And now I can see. I've had more clarity now that some things have fallen away. And so I was thinking about how we have so much input in our world. There's always another podcast to listen to. There's always another article to read. There's always another book to get. There's always another, phone call to answer or whatever. There's always more. There's always something that wants your attention. You're in the car and the radio's got something going on, whether it's, NPR or music or whatever you got going. There's always more. There's always all this information coming in. And it's a really great way to not be empty. It's a really great way to be full. And when you're full, then you don't have to think. You can just be like, I'm full. Great. I'm full. And it's funny because, last week we talked about zeal, which is like the movement. And I was like, well, isn't that interesting? That zeal seems like it would be counter this idea of making way, of being empty in a way, or receptive. We could use the word receptive instead of empty. And I'm like, no, not really. Because when we make room, then we know more deeply what's ours to do. And then we plug into zeal, boom, and we can go. Because remember, one of the problems that zeal has is sometimes chasing its own tail, or getting excited about a whole lot of things that maybe don't need our energy. And so if we take the time to be empty, then we have more focus with our zeal. So how do we make room for that time of emptiness to happen? Wow. This is one of those times when prayer meditation is not the answer. I know. It's usually the answer to all the questions, right? And it's part of the answer, but it's not the full answer. Because what I've found in my own life is that taking, the 20 minutes or the half an hour to do the meditation is good and important and necessary, but it doesn't create the space. I mean, it creates enough peace for daily life to happen, but it doesn't create enough space for that kind of deeper seeing, deeper understanding, away from the busy. It's another part of the song where it says, nowhere to go, nothing to be, just here. And so how do we create that time, to just say, okay, for the next hour, I'm just going to sit here and look out the window. Or I'm just going to sit here and look out the window and drink my tea. Or, just do my painting or my craft project and just be doing that one thing. I know that I have a habit of doing that one thing and having another thing happening. I'm listening to a thing or I'm watching a thing. That's not necessarily bad, but it doesn't give you that space. That just washing the dishes, just doing one thing. That doesn't necessarily require a lot of work, a lot of thought process. Make the room. And especially now, we think, okay, fall is, we're bringing, we're so distracted, not connected for the most part to some of these natural cycles in many ways, because, we go to the grocery store, we don't have to bring in all the fall stuff and take care of it in a big sense, and we just go to the grocery store, and we don't have to be caught up in the cycles of the light so much, because we turn on the light switch and all that, which is really makes our lives easier in many ways, right? But this is that time for getting ready, because winter would be the time really for being empty and having that space. And this is the time where we're getting ready for that. And so I was so glad when Ladora said, I've been working on this song, and I'm ready, let's do it. And I was like, yes, because I love this particular album. This whole album, Daniel Amott album, is about openness, about surrendering surrendering the schedule and the neediness and all of this, just getting rid of all of that, letting that go. That's what this particular album is about. And actually the next album is called Fire, and that one is about the zeal part, right? So we should have done them the other way around. Yeah, we should have done them the other way around, but that's okay. Y'all are smart. You know how to flip because they're both a continuous process. And so, what the whole point of the whole idea of creating a space of empty is not for someone else to fill it, or even for you to fill it, or to go find the thing. It's just to be in that place that you can actually hear with your heart what it is for you to hear, which is hard to do sometimes when we have so much coming in. And when we have so much going on in our heads about where we're supposed to be and what we're supposed to do and you know, and all of those things. That's part of our normal 21st century life. It's okay. But it's okay to take that time to just, to breathe, to just, to be. I wrote, take out what you think you know, take out how you think you're supposed to be, and the timelines. The where you're supposed to be, when you're supposed to be there, all of that. And just be. What would that look like? And there is a lot of doing to be done in our world. There's a lot of changes that we want to have happen in our lives and in our communities, and all of that is an important part, and empty is the first step. And there's been a lot of talk, at least on my Facebook, about people getting burnt out and worn out from all the things and keeping going, and I believe that this remembering to come back to this place of just being, just looking out the window at the leaves, just going for a walk and just being, is such an important balance to the work that needs to be done in the world, because it reminds us of what is ours to do and what is not ours to do. So that is making way, and it makes us stronger. It gives us a firm foundation to do what's next. So let's do empty. So the one story I forgot to tell you, so now I'm going to tell you the story. It was just the musical interlude in the middle of the time. When the last ministerial job that I didn't get before I came here was a really rough one not to get. And, you know, I'd been so caught up in the scramble of getting a job, you know, like, what are we going to do with ourselves, right? Because, like, I didn't go through all those years of seminary to work in a warehouse, right? Maybe I did, I don't know. I was like, this is, and so my own process really, I listened to this album a lot because it's what I needed in that point, and it really brought me, when I consciously came to stop hustle, rush, and to just be like, okay, what is mine to do? And just made that open space to say, okay, I don't know what's mine to do. I don't know. I think I know, but I don't know. So let's just be in that place. Like it talks about in the song of just, no, I got nowhere to go and nothing to do. I'm just going to be here and do what I'm doing right here and right now. And it brought me so much groundedness and peace to be in that place instead of in the hustle, frenetic thing that when a little church in Anchorage showed up on the thing, I was like, aha! Isn't it great that I didn't spend the last 5 months hustle? Like there was no need. What's mine comes when it's time for it to be there. So anyway, that was the extra. See, I get these ideas about what I want to say after I've like locked it down. Not that it's locked down, but you know, and then I forget to